He walked in smiling. That was the first strange thing. You see, people don't usually smile when they're just giving away everything. There's some kind of anxiety. There's a little bit of hesitation because once you've given it away, it's gone forever. But not this man. He smiled. He walked straight in, big smile, looking around the room, and he laid down all of his money. He could hear the crowd whisper, "Oh, that's amazing. That's generous. Oh, gosh." And it made him smile all the more. But then one of the men took a closer look at him, really looked, and the smile began to fade. The man confronted him and said, "Why have you lied to us? Why have you lied before God?" And everyone froze. Because what had actually happened was that this chap had not given away everything. He had given away a bunch of what he had, but it wasn't everything. And perhaps sensibly he kept some back. You never know what might happen. And he had given generously, so it should be okay. So he continued to smile and kind of laugh it off. But as this man confronted him, he felt his knees get weak and they buckled. His heart began to race. Blood started to flow out of his nose. Soon his eyes rolled back in his head and he fell over dead. Oh, as you can imagine, panic ensued and people went over to him but it was too late. He was really dead. And so they picked up the body and they brought it outside. A few hours later, this man's wife shows up and she came in too with a big smile, fully aware of the performance she was giving, but unaware that her husband was dead. The same man walked up to her and said, "Did you give us everything that you had as you have promised?" And she continued the lie and smiled and said, "Yes, of course we did. We gave you everything that we had." And the sad thing is that all she had to do was say, "Well, no, actually we held a little bit back." But instead of going for the truth, she doubled down on a lie. The man accused her and said, "How is it that you and your husband agreed together to lie to the Spirit of God?" And at that moment too, her knees felt weak and, well, you know how that ends. And as she fell to the floor and died, the same men who had grabbed her husband and carried him out were the ones that grabbed her and carried her out and buried her right next to her husband. And instead of two smiling corpses, you had two grimaces on a couple of dead bodies. What were their names? Well, Ananias and Sapphira. And they had promised to give everything to the church. They promised to give everything that they owned and to share everything. But they lied to the Apostle Peter and to God. And the story of their smile still speaks to us today, that you can fool some people and you can even fool yourself, but you can't fool God. For more stories like this, see the playlist Real Stories. And until the next time, God bless.